Hi everyone, I hope you are all well. 3 weeks in a row I am getting a video to you on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. I don't know how long that is going to last. But, we'll just have to wait and see. What's been happening with me? Well, I tried to buy a new oven today and it turns out that I can't buy a new oven because of electrics in my kitchen. And the way that it's set up, so I'm going to have all my electrics sorted in my kitchen first, so I can't do any cooking in an oven for probably another month or two. Oh well, I'll just have to cope with that. And the things that will help me cope are, of course, my books. Get me through. I'm here to talk about the book Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven, which I have been reading this week. And I have to say, this is my first failure of the year. It has been a week. I have gotten through 60 pages of this book and I do not want to carry on. Not in the slightest. So I've decided that I am giving up on this book. I've only done that very rarely. I did that for the Underground Railroad a couple of years ago, and last year for The Good Fairies of New York. And this year it's Holding Up the Universe. Now, Jennifer Niven is the author of All the Bright Places, which I reviewed last week, which I enjoyed. I liked it. I didn't love it, but what it was about and everything, and talking about teen suicides and all that kind of stuff, was a really great topic to use to educate people and to help people, support people. And the way in which she had constructed the book was really good. So I was like, okay, going into this, I know obviously it's a completely separate story, but it's still the same author. Let's see how she does with this. And this just completely didn't work for me whatsoever. It's basically about these two characters. Libby is an overweight girl. She was 600 pounds, and she was on the news that firemen had to cut her out of her house and stuff like this when she was at her heaviest weight. She's since gone and lost half of her body weight, so she's now 300 pounds, and she's going back to school. It's her first day back at school since losing the weight and everything. And so she's feeling better, as it were, compared to where she was previously, but it's still very daunting first day back, and how people will accept her or not accept her, etc. And then in the same class, there's this guy called Jack who has this condition, and I cannot pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. And it is a real thing where you can literally look at somebody and have a conversation with them, turn away, look back, and not recognize their face. And he uses characteristics of people, like the depth of their voice, the way they have their hair, the way that they walk, to be able to identify people. And it's about how these two meet and their relationship, how they help each other, deal with various things, etc., etc. So, and I got up to the point not long after they had met, and about 40 pages in, I was really struggling, and I sent a message to my sister who had read this book, who recommended it, which is why I bought it. And she said, keep going till they get together, really starts going. And then not long after that, they met each other in this book, and then I couldn't carry on with it. I would stare at my book and not want to pick it up, or when it was like, oh, I've got an hour or two free, I could read now, I was actually kind of like groaning at the thought of having to pick up this book. So I'm like, no, if it's putting me in that kind of state of mind, stop, walk away. This is not the book for me. So that is what I've done. Now, I don't know if it's to do with the structure or anything, but I quite like Libby. I quite like Jack. Didn't love them, but they were all right as individuals. But I didn't care about them. And I've said this before on this channel with various other reviews. With me, I really want to be immersed in that world. I want to understand the characters. I want to really like them, even the bad guys. You know, I really want to like how they've been characterized, how they've been how they mature and all this lot, how they fit in that world or not fit in that world, obviously depending on what the situation of the character is. And with this one, it was just like, yeah, she's there and he's there, and now they're meeting, and that was it. With All the Bright Places, I think the fact the very first chapter they meet, it's done, and then you learn about their backstories and how they see the world and everything from that point onwards. Whereas with this one, you had a lot of stuff with them individually, and then they came together. Now, I'm not saying that every single book they need to start off where they meet and then do the back thing, but given that that really worked for one story, can't that structuring kind of work for another one of her stories? I don't know. You know, maybe I'm being a bit overcritical of the structure because I didn't get on with it. I have no idea. But this just didn't work for me at all. And what didn't help, I got through 60 pages, but it's like, hang on, let's see how many pages this is. This is, oh, hang on, because it's got a bit of All the Bright Places in the back. 388 pages. I got through 60 pages, and each chapter is about between, I'd say, 2 and 5 or 2 and 6 pages long. So when you divvy that out across 60 pages, is not long at all. So you know, it's a lot of chapters in a very small set of pages. So it felt like I'd read lots, but then when I looked at it, I'm like, I've only read 60 pages in a week and I'm not enjoying this. So I decided to back away. So for my page count for the year, I'm only going to count the 60 pages that I read. And yeah, it had a really strong beginning as well, because you did get this introduction, and it begins saying, I'm not a shitty person, but I'm out to do a shitty thing, and you will hate me, but some other people will hate me, and I'm going to do it anyway to protect you and also myself. So I thought, oh, that's quite a strong opening line. And, you know, reading through, you realise that it's a letter from Jack. And then it flips to 18 hours earlier. And you meet Libby and you meet Jack, and, you know, the build up to the meeting, then they met. And that was, you know, long after that was where I stopped. It feels kind of dry. Not so dry as in dull writing and it's really long, and what was actually going on in scenes, because I found the flashbacks more interesting and learning the backstory than the actual present narrative of what was happening. And the present narrative is the main thing about this book, and I found it so dull and kind of lifeless, and I'm like, no, there's this big block, like a barrier going up in my head going, no. So yeah, I would just literally, I go, oh, I've got a couple of hours to read, and then I look at my, you know, my book and go, oh, and then just not pick it up. I just refuse to read for the evening because I couldn't bear the thought of reading this book. I'm not being negative, you know, I'm not, you know, saying, oh, it's so bloody awful. It's just there is a barrier in my mind going, this is not for you, Becky. Don't carry on. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop. So yeah, I wonder if structurally, if it was a bit better, it would work better personally for me. Just because it didn't work for me doesn't mean it doesn't work for everyone. Because obviously, like my sister, she enjoyed it and she recommended it for me to read. But yeah, something in my head is just screaming, no. So I'm not going to say horrible things just to be negative because I didn't get along with it. It just doesn't work for me. And that's all I'm going to say. I have nothing else to say about this. So yeah, Holding Up the Universe. Yeah. Let's put that aside. you know, if you've read this book, please let me know what you thought of it too. Did you have issues with it like me? Were you able to get through to the end of the book? Let me know. Leave me a comment in the comments box below. Give me thumbs up, thumbs down, entirely up to you to decide. And I'm now going to start on Everything, Everything by Nicola Yoon. So let's see how this one goes. I have a feeling, because I've had a good, an okay, and a bad experience with the young adult fiction books that I picked for this block of 5. I feel like the next block of 5 needs to be something like non-fiction or classic literature, something like that. If you've got a genre that you want me to choose, please let me know, and I will raid my to-be-read bookcase and see what I can find related to that genre. See what I can do for you. Because yeah, I'm worried now for this one and Ink, which is the other book, which is sat on my coffee table over there, staring at me with this absolutely beautiful cover, Catcher in the Light. Yeah, I'm kind of worried for Everything, Everything and Ink, but let's see how we go, and I'll be back with my thoughts on Everything, Everything as soon as I'm done reading. All right, guys, bye.